Hello, Solo Board Game Guide here, and another update on the Solitaire RPG game that I'm working on called Decline. Lots of people signed up to the link in the video to get updates, so thank you to those people. And in this video, I'm hoping to just share with you the combat system, what kind of things I think makes a good combat system. So this is actually going to be played on a map made up of individual cards, because I want the entire game to fit in a single deck of cards, much like Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms. And I've played lots of combat games and skirmish games and dungeon crawlers over the years, and I'd say the worst ones are ones that involve lookup tables where you roll some dice and you apply lots of modifiers, and then you have to trace out against this enormous table as to what's happening. So I want something much simpler. So I reckon, distilling it down to its bare bones, a good combat system is, can you hit it? What damage output do you achieve, and how much of that damage output gets through? So I'll just break that down a little bit. Can you hit it is affected by a number of things. Your attacking skill. So if you're a very, very dexterous warrior, then you're going to be much more able to actually get a hit in on an opponent. Similarly, the defense skill of your opponent is going to affect whether you can actually hit that creature or not. If it's something really fast, then it's more likely to get out of the way than a big lumbering ogre of some description. Is the target behind cover? If it is, then obviously that's going to affect whether you can see it in the first place, whether you can even get a hit on at all, or definitely it's going to affect your ability to get a hit on that target. And also, if it's a ranged attack, then the range is going to have some kind of effect on it. So the further away, logically, the more difficult it is to hit that target. So once you've established whether you can hit it, it's then a case of damage output. That, in my mind, is just down to really two things, which is the strength of the attack, which could be the melee strength of the character, or if it was a crossbow, the range strength of that weapon, and also the actual weapon that you used. So if you hit someone with a teaspoon, it's going to do a lot less damage than hitting someone with a scimitar. So the combination of those two, and some games, which I don't think I'm going to go into because I need to keep this relatively simple, it is going to fit in a box of cards after all, is also you'll get environment bonuses. So are you up high, you get a bonus from having taken a charge. There's something about the position from which you've attacked which gives you an advantage. And then finally, how much damage actually gets through to the thing that's being attacked, and that is going to be the natural toughness of the creature or object that's being attacked, and any protective armor that's going to be protecting that item or individual from the attack. So those three things basically make up the combat system. Can you hit it? If you do, how much damage do you deal? And of that damage, how much actually gets through? So the way I'm choosing to tackle these questions is the can you hit it section. I'm trying to base the game around the use of a set of RPG dice. Because it's really thematic with role-playing games. This has just been going around forever and they're really tactile and cool to hold. B, you can also procure tiny little RPG dice which happen to fit in a box of cards, so you can get the whole game in that one pack. So that's what I'm going with. And you'll notice in here there's 4 dice of one colour, 2 of another. That's because going down from the top, 20, 12, 10 and 8, they are your 4 basic dice. So you'll be rolling this 9 times out of 10. That's like your starting position, and it's modified by adding or removing dice from your hand. Obviously, as you get down the range, your chances of rolling a hit, and in this game a hit is a 1 or a 2, your chances of rolling a hit is, well, 25% here, and up here it's just 5%. So there's a natural sort of progression in your likelihood to hit. So we've already established that just because you can hit it, it's not necessarily you're going to kill it. You know, if to use a sort of a Lord of the Rings type example, if you had a hobbit's probably quite likely to be able to hit an enormous troll. The troll's quite large and not particularly clever, but the hobbit's only small, so it's not going to produce a lot of damage output, and furthermore, that troll is going to have a lot of natural armour. But hitting it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So in this example, I'm going to use two of the miniatures. I've got a skeleton. Here's another one of these Pendraken miniatures. It's a little crossbowman. And I've got my hero here, who's actually looks like some kind of dwarf. So let's stick these down on the map. I'll reposition the camera and talk you through the example. So this is a good opportunity to introduce you to the action point system, which I'm going to do a separate video in because it is probably the key part of the game. Here, the player, in this very well graphically designed player card, is facing up against a skeleton. And I've just used a little pre-printable D&D map just for the example because I'm still working on my MapForge card maps. So there'll be another video on that coming soon too. So in this example, hero's come through this door here and has encountered a skeleton a number of spaces away. So let's have a look at the stats. The player's got a movement of 3, skeleton 3, agility 5 and 4, reflecting the fact skeleton's sort of an animated pile of bones, not quite as dexterous as a player, but you know, this is a low-level adventurer. This is some kind of skeleton warrior, very similar stats, slightly less hit points. So I've come in, it's my turn, and I've got these 5 action points. So again, in the action points video, I'll show you exactly what you can do, but one of the things you can do is initiate a move. So I'm going to spend an action point to start moving, and I can do my normal move. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm still not in range for a melee attack, because I'm not adjacent. Diagonal is not adjacent in this game. So I'm going to spend a further action point to move another square in. So going back to our can you actually hit it, thematically you've got a tooled up adventurer fighting an undead pile of bones, so slightly more agile, so yeah, you would thought you would be able to hit it. So the odds are stacked in your favour. So I've got an agility of 5 and they've got an agility of 4. So what that means is I've got my 4 base dice, and because there's a 1 difference in my favour, I get 1 additional bonus dice. So I'm going to roll this up, and 1s and 2s are hits. So from this I've got 2 hits, and I've got 3 dice left, so I think I'm going to spend an action point to re-roll these 3. I've got an additional hit. Now, I'm not going to spend any more re-rolling these, even though they are quite low order dice. You know, I've got a 13% chance on this dice, and I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my 2 action points to bolster my attacks. So I've now I've got 3 hits on it. What damage output have I got? So basically my damage output is, well, it's a club that I'm using. So I'm going to have 3 rolls on the d4 for a total of 2. I'm going to spend an action point to re-roll that. Another 1, brilliant. And so that's 2, 4, 1, 7 points of damage, plus my 3 strength, 10 points of damage in total. Skeleton's got a toughness of 5. He takes 5 points of damage. And I've still got 1 action point in reserve. The way it works for an enemy creature attacking a player character is compare the agilities. I'm 1 down, so from the 4 base dice I've just got 3. And it'll be the 3 highest order dice, so 20, 12 and 10. And they get 3 points effectively of action points. And the logic, again we'll go through in the action point video, is laid out as follows. So they've got 1 there, So we've still got another 2 action points left. They'll try and modify the dice, which they can't in this case. Modify the dice, say if it was a 3, they can change it one way or the other, so they can go from a 3 to a 2. 2 action points left. So yeah, we're going to spend that as a second action point, and they're going to modify that down to a 2. So again, action points, something you can do in the game. You can spend them to get additional movement, you can spend them to reroll dice, and you can spend them to modify a dice by 1 dice placement. So he's got 2 hits, but this guy, however, has got a short sword. So he's going to have 2, 8, plus his strength. He's got 11 points on there. He takes 6 damage, which is quite a lot. There's no armour. So this would be a fairly low level adventure. You'd only be fighting 1 or 2 of these guys, so you'd be relying on your ability to have healing potions and armours and different methods of backing yourself up. But in all likelihood, he should kill this guy on his next go. So that's a little introduction as to the how combat is going to work, just based on the simple case of, can you hit it? That's probably going to be fairly easy normally. How much damage do you do based on your strength and the weapon you're using, and then how much of that actually affects the creature or structure that you're attacking, and that's how that works. Before I go, I'm just going to show you these tiny little 6mm figures that I found online. So I was considering maybe using these. I think they're a bit small, to be honest with you. Look at the size of that. It's absolutely tiny. So 10mm is already pretty small. You're probably aware of the size of a Fitbit. There you go. There's some scale comparison. It's absolutely diddy. So I'll show you some of these 6mm adventurers, as they were called. See if I can zoom in on it. So this is like a rogue type character. We have a wizard, getting all our fantasy tropes down here. I don't think the video does it justice particularly. They are actually quite detailed because it's so small. But I think even for this micro scale game, they are perhaps a little bit too small, especially when you compare it to these 10mm skeleton archer and dwarf warrior. But hopefully you like the look of this game. I'm very, very open to comments and feedback. Do sign up to the newsletter in the description and keep tuning for more videos, because this is very much in development. It's been going on for about three years or so now, and it's finally coming together. I've got the graphic design in place and the mechanics are almost there. So thanks for watching.